I don't know if any of you have actually taken an extended break away from like listening to music and doing music. I did that at the beginning of the year, and it was actually close to 6 months of me not listening to music at all or doing recording or anything. It was a big chunk of time. And it's funny when you start listening to music again after being away from it that long. As an engineer, when I started listening to things again, everything sounded really distorted, really overcompressed, really limited. It just, we all, as engineers, we know that's the case. We have to deal with loudness and stuff constantly. So, I mean, it's not a surprise, but I'm telling you, if you've never taken a longer break away from music, I would encourage you to do it for maybe just a week at some point and then come back to it. You might be surprised at how your brain reinterprets things. So especially when it came to all the stuff that I've recorded over the years, when I started listening back to things and started mixing again, it seemed like everything I've ever done was just horrible. It was really startling. And so there are two ways I could have approached this moving forward. First thing I could do is just, with this new perspective, decide that I'm going to do things differently. I'm going to have new rules. I'm not going to overcompress things. I'm not going to make it loud, blah, blah, blah. That's not healthy or realistic, especially when you run a business in a professional studio. I know there's there's an artistic side to what we do as engineers, but at the end of the day, I think ultimately, in a more healthier sense, it's my job to help artists kind of fulfill their vision and what they want to do. And so, sometimes that aligns and it's great, and sometimes you butt heads and you kind of meet in the middle. So as opposed to just taking on this huge, massive paradigm shift where I'm going to do everything differently, which just, again, isn't realistic, I figured I'd come up with some sort of project that I could do on the side just to get it out of my system and just do things the way I would like to do, to where, just I don't feel like I'm destroying things at the end of the process, and especially during the mixing process. So I've come up with this idea that I think I'm going to call the Pure Series. The first thing I wanted to do was limit this to 8 tracks when we do a song. So not just 8 instruments or anything, but like 8 actual tracks, a total of 8 microphones or lines or whatever. I think that gives you enough room to kind of do most modern songs justice, but at the same time, it's gonna make you really decide what's important and what's not in the song. And then aside from that, which I mean is a big one, I even ran into problems doing a really simple version of one of my songs. The other thing I want to do is during the mixing process, keep things really simple and not overdo it, especially when it comes to, mastering things. I might kind of adopt the LUF standards that a lot of streaming platforms have, which are super low. If you go to like -14 or whatever it is for the LUF standard, you've got a lot of headroom to work with. But, when you compare it to a lot of modern music, it's super quiet. But I don't care about that. I don't want to overdo things. I want to keep things simple. I want to keep a lot of space in the arrangements. And then I just want to kind of mix things to a point where I'm not overdoing it, but I feel good about it, and I don't feel like I'm like cutting any corners to make it louder or anything like that. So I took one of my songs to do this, and over the last few months, I've kind of been on a journey to find a really good pair of preamps, because I think one of my favorite preamps I've come across so far is the AEA TRP preamp. It's super clean. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not, but it just, on some things, especially ribbon microphones, it is just amazing. And I've loved it on a bunch of tube microphones as well. So it's definitely one of my favorites. So I've got 2 channels of the TRP that I'm going to use in this Pure project or whatever it ends up being. I also wanted to find 2 channels of like the most colorful, just amazing sounding preamps on the planet. I know that's a tall order, but I've been trying a lot of things the past couple of months, and I've I've found the Coil audio preamps, and I've got 2 channels of their 286s. I've done a full video on that on the channel if you want to check it out, but I really think those coil preamps are the best preamps I've ever used, bar none. So between the 2 channels of the coils, and then, you know, on the other side of the spectrum, the 2 channels of the super clean AEA TRP preamps, probably going to limit it to just using those 2 for this series for the foreseeable future, and just not do any EQ or compressing on the way in. And again, just keep a really pure signal chain going into things and see what we can do. Now, the last piece to this whole weird puzzle is how I'm going to deliver this. And I think you've noticed, literally perspective-wise, this video looks a little bit different because I'm actually shooting on an anamorphic lens on my older original Blackmagic camera. It's a really cool combo and I really like it. So I think I'm going to start shooting anamorphic for this. The other thing that's important to me is to really get around the issue of YouTube mangling the audio. Sometimes it's not a big deal and other times it is. So I've decided to record all this at 192K. I know that's insane, but I don't have a lot of experience really recording big projects on super high sample rates. So I'm going to stick to 192 for a while and see what happens. I would really like to be able to have people kind of watch a video montage of the song and still hear this back at a really high quality. So I'm going to link the mix of my song that was all tracked at 192 and bounced out at 192 24-bit. I'm going to try to do a little video thing where it has a countdown to a sync point. So right before it starts playing the montage, you're going to have a countdown. And when it gets to the 0 mark and you hear the buzz, if you've downloaded the 192 file and you press spacebar at the same time, it should link up with the video. And I know this is going to be super annoying for some people, but I'm not going to have any audio within the YouTube video. So if you want to hear this and see it together, you're going to have to download the file at 192 and do the sync thing. So it's a weird idea, but again, this is kind of an experiment, and I'd like some feedback from people on if you just found that super annoying and you just want me to put the audio in there like normal, and you know, I don't care about YouTube compression. But ultimately, again, I hope this is going to turn into a kind of a passion project where I do kind of special songs with people where we really just get down to bare bones and do this at a higher quality and not have to worry about, you know, making this compete by modern standards or anything. We spit it out the way we want to. So I'd like some feedback from people as far as just this concept and if it works overall. The other thing I want to encourage is for people to reach out to me, because I'd like to do a lot of these series with people where we just pick one song with a band and do it this way and do a little video on it. If you'd like to do this, reach out to me and let me know. I'll house you for a day or two. I won't charge you anything. I don't want this to turn into some, you know, thing that I offer at the studio, a service. I don't want it to turn into a service. I want it to just be a really pure, cool thing. So if you're interested in doing something like this out here, reach out to me. You just have to come out here and we'll spend a day or two doing it and we'll have some fun. And especially if you're like me, where you've kind of gotten burnt out from music or recording in general and you just want to come back and approach it again and just do it from a pure perspective, reach out to me. I'd like to start doing more of these. So let's go ahead and I'll play the montage and we'll see how the countdown sync thing does. The idea here is that you've downloaded the high quality WAV file, and I'm going to play a countdown video so that you can sync playing that WAV file in the background while still watching the video. So let's try that real quick and let's play the file while it's counting down. All right, good luck to everyone. Let's give this a go.
San Francisco myself go, but not in the ways that all of my friends said help me to grow. I slept through the days and worked in the nights. I wrote songs in cages, beautiful places I'd never afford, 'cause that westward sun burns so much brighter when you're on the run. Darker places, the smaller those spaces, made all of that hard living fun when you're on the run. When you turn 31, hard living ain't fun. You crave something stable and try to enable healthier ways. Those bright city lights drown out the night. Run to the stars, burn through the darkness, and make that your home. 'Cause that westward sun burns so much brighter when you're on the run. Darker places, the smaller those spaces, made all of that hard living